Banana Nick Cage. Banana Nick Cage. Banana Nick. It's very hard to say. Banana Nick. Banana Nick Cage.
I like the Banana Cage.
No, I'm gonna go with Banana Nick.
Jesus.
I just like saying it now. It's like a
Banana Nick.
It has like it rolls off the
Oh,
tongue.
remember
nicely.
that song from the Muppets? One more and a half.
Yep.
Banana Nick. Na 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 na. Banana Nick. Na 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 na. Banana Nick.
That is now the theme of this
nah.
episode. That's the theme song. Banana Nick.
Banana. Banana Nick. You guys say I'm dumb like that.
Wow, welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, oh, we're recording. Cool.
We've been recording this whole time.
Great.
Welcome to another episode of Nerdoholics. And if you can't tell what this week's theme is, I don't know what to tell you.
You drink out of that cup all the time. What do you mean? Yeah, guys, we're covering the one, the only, Nick Cage.
Yes.
He's
the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, he's been in
national
everyone's
treasure.
lives. If he hasn't affected your life, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely wrong.
Has he, the one genre I feel like maybe he hasn't so much as comedy.
His face.
But
comedy?
Other than that, like, he doesn't have like a Rush Hour, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if like, I remember anything that he was like, actual comedy, but yeah, I think you're right.
Like, he has comedic parts,
yeah.
I guess, but like, it's not necessarily like a buddy cop film or like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
At least that I can recall, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, if anybody knows about comedy, let us know, because,
yeah,
I'm not, nothing's coming to
it's
mind.
It's not like he has like a Ghostbusters under his belt, you know? Which, by the way,
imagine?
Would have loved.
Yeah, I know, right? Could you imagine?
Egon, what do you want, Beckman? Like,
I feel like he could add class to any movie. Anyone.
Before they go out.
Doesn't matter.
Before they go out ghost busting, he has to play Lowrider. Alright.
He has to do it. You gotta do it. I love this. I love this episode. This is already my favorite episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. Just him in every movie, which, by the way, also works.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong.
No.
Even when it's so bad, it's so wrong, it's still right.
Still, yeah. It's weird. This is a weird one, but one of my favorite ones is Kick-Ass.
Oh, I love him in Kick-Ass.
In Kick-Ass, it's great. He's so, like, it's different. It's a different kind of role for him. I love that he is, like, cheesy on purpose. Uh-huh. Don't worry, baby doll. And then he shoots his 12-year-old in the chest. Like, you know? That mustache. Like, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
All of it. All of it.
Yeah, he was a great Big Daddy.
Yes. That, again, also so weird.
I mean, that was his superhero name.
That was his
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. What do they call you, Big Daddy?
Yeah.
Big Daddy. We have a robbery in progress. Yeah, you do.
Why is he doesn't have a stupid voice? Stop.
No, but I imagine that's how it goes. Speaking of Big Daddies, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking a drink of my own creation.
Yeah.
So.
Not out of a book.
No, not out of a book. I made this one up. So, and I named it the Hour-Long Peach. Because I can drink it for hours.
For those that don't understand the reference, it's a face-off reference.
Yes, it is.
So.
Because Nicolas Cage can eat a peach for hours, in case anyone was curious.
Hours.
And yes, that is an innuendo.
Ah.
For other things.
But.
Well, I mean, that was before the age of the emojis and how peach means, but he was referring to other things.
Are we not going to say it? I'm so confused.
Cunnilingus.
Yes.
That's what he was referring to.
The great art of cunnilingus.
Yes.
My father was I don't know. I meant to say grandfather, so it wasn't as weird. And then only father came out.
Either one makes it weird.
I didn't know my grandfather, so it doesn't make it that weird.
Still.
I had to go home and look at my dad in the face later today, so that will make it weird when I say, "Hello, father." And he goes, "Did you talk about me?"
And
say that I'm good at cunnilingus? That's really weird.
Did that happen?
Very strange, son.
Sorry, Dad.
But also it's true, and then he leaves.
Oh, goodness.
And then
gracious.
I don't want to know where he goes after that.
Alright, we need to stop talking about Dad in this light. Alright, I can't handle it.
Alright.
But let's talk about his newest movie.
Yeah.
The newest edition.
I forgot what it's called.
It is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
So, originally, I wasn't that excited for this movie.
I've been excited since the moment I heard about it.
I didn't know what to expect. Like, the only thing I knew was Nick Cage was acting as himself.
Yes.
So, I didn't really understand? Whatever. I didn't really know what that meant. Like, what are we gonna get? It could have been so many types of Nick Cage I didn't really understand until the first 5 minutes in, and I went, oh, this is gonna be amazing. It's just, for me, it was what I imagined Nick Cage is like at home. Mm-hmm. And it's just him doing that. Like, what everybody imagines he's like.
Yeah, that's exactly pretty much what it was. Mm-hmm. And I do like, though, that it was him playing himself, but not necessarily himself in a way. Yeah. Because if you look at the movie poster, they say it's Nicolas Cage as Nick Cage, but they spell Nick with Nick, and Nick spells his name N-I-C.
That's cool.
So it's like, it was like
a character.
Yeah, it was still a character.
I didn't know that. That's
so
cool.
Yeah, so I thought that part was pretty cool. But
it was great. I did like that, like.
By the way, spoiler alert, guys! If you haven't seen it yet, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna say all the things.
The whole thing. So
all the spoilers.
Go watch the movie first, or don't, and then listen to us and talk about it, and then go watch it. But
just know
we're gonna spoil things for you.
Yeah, we're gonna say stuff and things.
Not to say that this movie really has it's not like has a secret thing that.
Yeah, no, it's not like a twist or anything. But like, I mean,
either way, no, it is cool, but it is take place in a almost alternate universe because Neil Patrick Harris doesn't play himself.
Yeah, no, Neil Patrick Harris doesn't. He plays his agent or his manager.
Yeah, his manager. Which also, it kind of weirded me out because I thought he was going to be playing himself, but...
Yeah, I thought so too when I first saw the trailer. I thought NPH was going to be himself, but...
He's played himself so many times.
Yeah.
At least 3 in Harold and Kumar, and then I feel like every other iteration of things he's done are just very... He's like Nick Cage, it's just versions of himself, you know? So, but either way, I was glad to see NPH do something else. That was kind of cool. But yeah, movie starts off about his career, and I hope this isn't his last movie. But
oh no, I hope not either.
It does kind of go in that direction where he kind of feels like he's not doing enough for his career. Like he could be doing more, and he's not necessarily getting the parts that he wants. Yeah.
It kind of starts off that way, like with his. He was had a meeting or somebody for a role. Yeah, he was really excited about it, and then he was like, "I'm gonna read for you," just out of nowhere, just does a scene right there.
That was really cool. I think if you're in the business or have rubbed shoulders with it at all, or if you've gone to an audition, you know how terrible it is. Mm-hmm. But for him as an A-list actor to also be you know what, I'll read for you. I'm just
gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it right here in the parking lot.
I love that he had the lines already memorized. Yeah. It's great. That's something that you could that sells the desperation almost, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. It almost I almost feel like this is his Cage comeback.
Yeah.
In a way, because it's he gets a lot of hate for working and making movies and taking these jobs and these acting gigs and everything, but it's he explains it too in the movie about why he does it. It's because that's his job. His job is to be an actor and to make movies and to do these things, and it's that's how he supports his family and he supports himself. So he takes the jobs, but that's apparently frowned upon in Hollywood.
It is, and even in comedy, at least in my experience, there's always these weird rules that you're supposed to obey. Don't put your best joke first, say it second or something, or just these weird rules that people tend to come up with that you're supposed to go by, and if you're not, you're breaking the Hollywood rules. You're not doing it the right way, and it's fuck that, man. It's your career. You shouldn't really be adhering to somebody else's rules, especially in something that's has so much freedom in it. But yeah, you do too many movies, you start getting shit talked on. You don't do enough movies, you start getting shit talked on. You do an international commercial that probably makes you a shit ton of money, you get shit talked on. There's these things you're not supposed to do, but I think it's cool that he's, one, done them, and then two, kind of kicked it back to him. No, this is why I do it. Fuckers, I'm trying to make money. Also, I love my fucking job. Why wouldn't I want to fucking do it?
Exactly. He gets to do these, weird kind of outlandish roles and, these kind of weird movies, and it's yeah, don't get me wrong, some of his movies they're not great.
No.
But at the same time, he gets out of his comfort zone, and there's not a lot of actors I feel that really do that. He just kind of throws himself into stuff. And he's like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do that. He even like created like they reference it in the movie. He created his own type of acting.
Yeah.
The nouveau, what is it? Nouveau semantic or something like that.
So I
wrote it down. I don't know where it went.
So during these press tours, when they go out and promote the movie, it's been becoming more like YouTube channels doing stuff. Mm-hmm. They have more like interviews that actually like give information back. I feel like a lot of interviews in the past before YouTube was doing shows, you get like these interviews that had a lot of the same questions. GQ does a thing where they have you go online and create social media accounts as yourself, and you answer real questions that people give to you. And one of them was about this Nobu. Was it again? Nobu Semantic.
Yeah, it's like
acting.
Nobu something. I wrote it down. I can't.
I believe it's Nobu Semantic. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's it. But he talks about it in one of these GQ videos where
Nouveau Shamanic.
Yeah, Nouveau Shamanic. He talks about I forget where he read it, but he read it from a book or something, and basically the person he was reading it from was talking about how like actors actually are tapping into like some kind of shamanistic kind of thing, and basically like you should name your own style because it gives you power over it kind of idea. And I think that's just what he was doing with that.
Because he said something too about like, because shaman are basically actors.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that. From my concept of shaman, I didn't really understand what he meant, but I mean, that's not for me. That's for him to decide, you know, how he interprets things and everything. But kudos to him for finding meaning and solace in it, I guess. I mean, acting's hard. I hate it. I hate it so.
I love it.
It's fun. It can be fun. I'm really bad with memorizing lines. So I do good, like I've been in situations where I've had to improv lines, or like they just toss me like, hey, this is the situation, make it work. That I can do. You give me like exact, it needs to sound like this for a paragraph. Nope, can't do it.
Oh, see, I can do that.
Like halfway.
But I can't do the improv thing. If you were to come up to me and try to do the whole improv thing, the whole like yes and thing, nope. I'm a nope person. I can't do it. I can't improv. Like,
you know, it's just different people.
Yeah, so if somebody looks at me and tries to improv, I'm like, I don't know what to do now. What do I do with my hands? Like, where do we go from here? Like,
no, because to me, it's always like improv is just how you're gonna, or how a person's supposed to react in that situation. Which is, I don't feel like, for me, I can interpret that a little bit easier. But yeah, no, you give me lines, and I'm just like, but how did they line?
What's my line?
I think in my senior, like I took theater all 4 years in high school, and my senior play, I had like a paragraph, and I just, for this one play, I just couldn't memorize it. Like for whatever reason, they just couldn't. So they put the book inside one of the fruit bowls of the set. So like I think a lot of people that year didn't give a shit, because literally every few seconds someone would walk by the fruit bowl and be like, okay, cool. And I literally stood there. Like we almost skipped the whole monologue because of it. Because we just couldn't get the timing right for everything.
That's was great. So funny. We're getting off topic, but I'm going to jump on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
There was a play that I did in high school, because I did drama all 4 years too. Mm-hmm. And there was a play that I did, and it was like one that like my teacher, I guess, had written. Uh-huh. And my class was just, we all got along really well, but we were all just a bunch of just hooligans.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we couldn't make it through the whole first act. Uh-huh. And so we never even, like, practiced the second act. Like, none of us even really knew what we were supposed to do. Like, we had a vague idea of, like, where the story was supposed to go and how it was supposed to end, but no one knew lines. We were just making shit up the entire second act. Like, the first act, we were good. Mm-hmm. We had that shit dialed.
Yeah.
Second act, nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was like, you know, somebody say something. We gotta get this show on the road. Like, it was so bad.
It happens, though. I get it. But either way, Nobu, if we would have been Nobu Shamanic about it, we could have figured it out.
Maybe.
I do love that he, like, coins his own way of doing things. You know, he lets people know, like, this is me. This is how I do it, whatever that process is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Pedro Pascal.
Great in this movie.
Fantastic. I love him.
I was kind of on the outs with him. He kind of made me mad.
Why do you make you mad?
2 reasons. One, Wonder Woman. That shit sucked. I was so mad. And not necessarily his fault, but...
Yeah, I mean, the second Wonder Woman was garbage.
So mad.
The whole movie.
The whole movie, everything.
The whole movie was just
all of it.
Pure...
Garbage.
Dumpster fire.
Ugh.
Like, that's what I was trying to get to. I just couldn't figure out the words. Dumpster fire.
Why? But, so there's that. And then he also has had some issues with filming The Mandalorian because they don't show his face enough. So I was like, Pedro, I like you as an actor. Please don't. Like.
But I mean, yeah, he's got a good looking face, but that's the whole point of the Mando.
Yeah,
you don't see his face.
He wants more screen time. I don't know why. I don't know what.
No.
But yeah, which is why I think. Because, and spoilers, if you haven't seen fucking Mandalorian season fucking 2 or whatever. No, we're on season 2 or 3.
I don't know. 2, I think.
2, I think. When he gets kicked out of the fucking his tribe, out of the Mandalorian tribe, I feel like that's why they did it. Because now that he's not in the tribe, he can technically show his face as much as he wants to.
That kind of, yeah, that tracks.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that was part of it. I mean, they did it in a tasteful way where I wasn't like, oh, that's why they did it. Like, I didn't think about it later, but still, I was like,
is that how you talk to yourself in your head, by the way? Is it like, oh, that's how they did it? Like,
sometimes.
Is that the voice you hear?
No, well, okay, I have like 4 voices. I have like 5. I have my main voice, like this, the actual voice I'm speaking in. Also, I have the goofy voice. I have like a serious voice. I have a 2 old women that are constantly finding new songs. Like 2 women in their 70s, but they just heard Poker Face for the first time and they love it.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Just things like that.
All right. Yeah. You probably get that checked out.
No, it's great. It makes.
I think this is all pointing towards schizophrenia.
Probably.
I think you may have a problem, sir.
No, I just like inventing voices.
Some people don't even have that. Like, they don't have an inner monologue.
Yeah, they don't have that. That would drive me insane. They see like pictures or sounds.
Yeah,
or,
like I talk to myself all the time. I couldn't imagine not hearing my own voice in my head. Like it's weird. I can't handle that.
I've never met somebody who does that though. That's the thing.
Who doesn't have an inner monologue?
Who doesn't have an inner monologue.
Yeah, I mean, I started asking people when I found that out, and like a lot of people told me, they were like, "Oh no, yeah, I guess hear my voice in my head." Like people were like weirded out that I was asking this question, but I was like, I must know. Like,
yeah, I need to understand.
Who's not hearing
who else is
themselves?
just as crazy
like,
as me? But well, my point. Either way, I was on the outs with him, but this movie really made me like him again. It really brought back. I think, as a whole, from beginning to end, his acting was so on par that I was just like, I forgive you.
Yeah.
Like I whispered it in the theater, by myself.
He was great. I literally wrote down here, Pedro Pascal was rad.
Yeah.
That was my only note for him.
It was
he
so
was rad.
believable that he was this character that he I didn't view him as an actor. I viewed him as who he was supposed to be.
Javi.
Well, yes, as Javi in the movie. And that's the thing is it gets hard when you have these big name actors to
separate them from their other roles.
Like there's people who call Christian Bale Batman. Yeah, Batman was in this movie, or Batman was in that movie, or and so.
Yeah, it's hard to separate yourself when you've had a big role and that's what everybody knows you as. So.
Like Spider-Man, the newest one.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. I'd never call him Tom Holland. I call him Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And I know he's done other things. But no, for me, he's Spider-Man. But yeah, no, in this movie, Pedro Pascal definitely immersed himself in the world. I loved his role. I liked how, believable his nervousness was.
Yes.
You know?
I
just
love
to give context.
Their quirky little bromance.
Yeah,
that they developed.
Great.
It's the cutest thing ever. I was just sitting there watching them, and I'm like, they're adorable.
They're true friends. In that, as somebody who has a few friends that are real ass fucking homies.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what this movie's about.
Yep.
It's just 2 guys that genuinely get each other.
Yep. They're just the best
and
of friends.
the first time that kind of broke through to me is there's a scene in the movie when they're finally for the first part of the movie when they get to see each other. There's a good chunk where they don't really connect. They're not. Javi's trying to get there. Nicolas Cage just doesn't give a shit because he's getting paid to hang out with Javi for a weekend or a week or however long it is.
Yeah.
And Javi's trying, but he can't really figure it out. And Javi asks Nick Cage what his favorite movie is. And Nick Cage says, well, tell me what your 5 favorite movies are, and I'll tell you mine.
I think he said top 3.
Or top 3,
yeah,
top 3.
Does top 3.
And so, he names off these first 2 movies.
He says Face Off.
Face Off.
Is number 1.
Yeah.
And then number 2 was this weird, obscure movie
Which
that,
is a movie that Nick Cage also liked.
Yeah, that Nick Cage also liked, that he, made his daughter watch.
Yeah, something of Dr. Parnassus or whatever.
Yeah, it was some weird, 100-year-old, German film or something.
It's one of those movies that, when you meet, actual film students... And they're like, oh, my teacher showed me this film that it changed the way that people give monologues and the cinematic theory. And, it's just, a movie that no one actually likes and doesn't understand. But, they both liked it. And then the third movie, it was Paddington 2. And Nick Cage even goes, what? And he's like...
He's like, I cried through the whole movie, and it made me want to be a better man. Yeah. That was exactly what Pedro Pascal said.
And then they watch it, and Nick Cage is just crying. It's great. It was so funny. I love kind of random humor, and that took me. I think I was already getting sold on the movie slowly, and I think that's the first time I went, yes, this is gonna be a really fucking funny movie.
Yes. I loved all the little tidbits and everything they added into. So, there was always, little pieces from, all of Nick Cage's, previous movies and little things that they brought in. And then, Pedro Pascal, his character Javi, would always, bring up extra little things, too.
Yeah.
It would be, he said something about... He needed him to... That scene when they do acid.
Oh.
And he, hurts his leg or whatever, and he needs him to drive, and he's like, I can't drive on acid. He goes, of course you can. He was like, you did all of your own stunts and gone in 60 seconds. Because he knows all these facts about him because he's such a big fan.
We should explain what Javi... Why this is happening. Javi invites Nick Cage to come to his birthday party for a weekend. Mm-hmm. And he's going to pay him $1 million, and since Nick Cage is at the end of his career, he... takes the job because he needs money. He didn't get the last role that he wanted. Yeah, the one he was reading for.
Yeah, the one that he was reading for. He didn't get it, but he's really hard up for money.
Yeah.
And he had this offer, and so he just says, fuck it, I'll just go and I'll just do that. And so he goes to Javi's birthday party.
And he meets Javi, and that's why they're kind of in this predicament of strangers meeting each other. Javi's the biggest Nick Cage fan in the world.
Yes.
He is a olive.
He's in the
farmer.
olive business.
And you find out later we'll get there, but he is an olive business, and he pays Nick Cage to come, but secretly he wants to become a screenwriter. He wants to write a movie. And so he had sent Nick Cage a script, but Nick Cage never got it because his agent didn't give it to him. So that's where he's trying to get to while trying to connect with Nick Cage. And so we finally get to they're trying to become friends, and they finally Nick Cage reads the script, which we never really hear what he thinks about it.
Well, no, he hated it. Remember, or he didn't hate it, but he didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But there's that scene when he brings it up at the birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And then that's when he decides to stay longer because he needs to. We didn't talk about that part yet either.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
He agrees to stay longer, but says that he does not want to be in his movie that he wrote, but that he wants to write a movie with Javi.
He liked the script enough to say, let's create something together.
Yeah, let's create it together, but I'm not going to be in that movie. He was like, hard no on that one, but we're going to make something together.
Yeah, but the reason he actually ends up staying longer is because as he's going to spend time with Javi, the CIA is actually there investigating him because... As we said, he's an olive farmer, but he is actually the figurehead of a huge drug cartel drug situation.
It's all bad.
Yeah, so
he's apparently the big bad guy that the CIA is trying to get.
Yeah, and
so they secretly enlist Nick Cage to be there,
which is great. Spy. To me, that was yeah, of course you would.
Nick Cage. That's espionage.
Okay, this is the thing: is Tom Cruise is the last of a long line of actors who actually, if Tom Cruise, and this has actually happened, Tom Cruise showed up to a Red Bull in, why am I forgetting the type of race it is? The funny cars,
like a drag race?
Not a drag race, but the European cars with the fat wheels and the
Indy?
The Indy
car
500, those, and so. He partnered up with Red Bull, and they just gave him a car to drive. Exactly, because Tom Cruise he's the last of I'm trying to think like an action star who actually did all the things like
does his own stunts and
but like back in the day, like in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, like they all did their I forget his name. He's so famous. I've told stories about him. He I forget, but he did The Great Escape. I'm sure people will know, but he was this action star who was famous because he actually did his stunts, and not now where Matt Damon does his own stunts, but to an extent.
Yeah.
Where this guy literally rode a motorcycle while 10 other motorcycles were shooting. I'm sure fake guns back in the 50s were not fake guns. And he has a bunch of these famous movies where he just did all these badass fucking stunts with cars and flipping them himself and doing all kinds of stuff. Tom Cruise is the last line of those kind of actors that did that kind of stuff. He shows up to Red Bull to an Indy race, they give him a car. They're like, yeah, go ahead and do the test run. Normally, so the brakes on the Indy cars are really hard to push. You can't actually, if you're not trained on them, you're not going to push them all the way. I think they said the average person pushes it 30% down. He was hitting 60, 70% down his first try. He goes he can show up to any, he actually normally skydives over in Paris.
Oh,
and cool. He can show up and he has his own license. He's a certified halo jumper, all these crazy things. Nick Cage is somebody who I also equate, if I was in an incident where we're getting shot at, Nick Cage, drive the car. Here's a gun. You know what I mean?
You would trust him with your life, is 100%. What you're saying.
I would never,
Be you know what? We fucking got this. Nick Cage, right here, or right here.
Lord of War, let's go. Time to go. And it's to me, it's not surprising. I would do the same thing if we were in a situation, if I was the CIA. Let's fucking, Nick Cage is here?
Oh, man, we're good. We're going.
Good. We're okay. We're bacon. Let's go. And I think that's kind of how they feel about it, but Nick Cage is also just an actor.
Well, yeah, but I mean, one of the CIA agents felt that way. Yeah, the chick.
Yeah.
But then the guy was like, no, we're not doing this, but they did it.
They did it, and they recruit him and they get him in, and he does a pretty decent job until. The night of the birthday party.
The night of the birthday party.
Oh man, that scene was great.
Oh my god, I was dying laughing in the theater.
Nick Cage is sneaking up to the surveillance room where they have all the video cameras to give a video feed to the CIA into the surveillance. And so he's sneaking up and he hears a guy coming up the stairs and they gave him some kind of adhesive or something that you can stick on your hand.
A weird thing that you would stick on your hand.
And it would incapacitate you, but also kill you, kind of, I guess, or something. It was kind of unclear as to how far it fucked
because they
you
kept talking about him dying.
Yeah, I'm is he just killing people?
Just Nick Cage is out here murdering folks.
So as the guy's coming up, he's getting ready to try to hide, and as soon as it happened, I started laughing. Nick Cage just goes like this and just swipes his brow on accident, and you're like, oh,
yep,
no.
You did. You knew immediately. You were like, that was the hand. That was the hand with the stuff.
And as that's happening, you just slowly see Nick Cage descending.
Make the realization.
And he has to climb outside this window. It's a whole fucking thing.
He's about to pass out, and he's having to inch his way along the ledge to get back into the surveillance room because he'd locked himself out of it.
Oh, it was great.
But did you notice too that he'd slapped himself? Because he was trying to wake himself up, but when he slaps himself with the same hand, the one with the stuff on it. And I just started laughing. I was like, he's making it worse.
That was great. And then he almost dies.
Almost.
And then I love Tiffany Haddish's character. She's one of the CIA agents. And she just thinks of a way, trying to think of ways to wake him up. And she goes, action! He you just see his eyes open. He goes, and shoots himself with the EpiPen. And just wakes up. I was like, that's great.
Yeah, and the other guy was like, how did you do that? And she was like, he's an actor. That's all the explanation you need. He's an actor.
Yeah, Tiffany Haddish, I wanted her to have more lines.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be involved.
I was disappointed with her character, where that ended up.
Yeah.
I wanted more, but it went with the storyline, so I guess that's okay, but, whatever. One thing that I have written down here though is the Nick fucking okay.
When does he do that?
It's that Nikki, like his. So okay, so in the movie, I feel like this was like the reason maybe why he was like also taking all these movies and doing all these weird things. Is because and it was this like inner monologue that he had, which they give life to in the movie. Mm-hmm. So you see him talking to himself sometimes, and it's a younger basically version of himself, which is named Nikki.
Fucking great.
Yeah, which is named Nikki, which I think is from one of his earliest movies.
Yeah, it's one of like the first movies.
Yeah, it's one of his earliest movies, and it's this character called Nikki, and it just. And the character just does this weird scream of saying Nick fucking Cage, and he does this scream with it though, and just drags out the fucking in the middle, and it's just, it's magical.
And no, anytime he goes full Nick Cage, I love it. Like, anytime in a movie,
just full Nick Cage.
He just goes full Nick Cage and was like, yes, like, all that
face too.
Yeah, he just, it's great, and so he ends up staying for the birthday party.
Yes.
And so he finds a way to stay longer. And then him and, to find inspiration, him and Pedro do acid together. Which, all of it was amazing. And
I loved Nick's reaction to doing it because he didn't want to. Like, he was just kind of like, really? Like, we're gonna do it? And he just goes, fuck it.
Yeah.
And he lets him give it to him. Oh my gosh, that whole scene was amazing. Just them on acid. They got paranoid and they thought those people were watching them.
We're talking to them, we're following them. Yeah, it was,
and they were just sitting there and he would just... And I love the way, too, that, like, the movie had this, like, natural progression of them, like, creating the movie that they wanted to create, but they were living the movie while it was, like, while they were creating it. Because they were talking about having a paranoid scene.
Yeah, and then...
As they were paranoid that people were watching them. And it was, oh my God.
Oh, that whole thing was great. When he tells... Pedro's like, how can I figure out if they're watching us? And he's like, do like a fake laugh or something. Yeah. And he does it, but he does it while completely, like, just staring at them. Like,
like looking terrified at the same time. Like...
It was great.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome.
I'm like crying again, just thinking about it.
It was just, it's everything you want in like a high scene where two people are just stoned out of their gourd. Yep. Like, it was dramatic, it was funny, they had no clue what was going on.
No.
And then we get to see Nick Cage drive a car while stoned, and...
Well, but we also get that scene of them trying to scale the wall.
So they're trying to escape these two people who are not following them.
Yeah, who are not following them.
And they see a wall, they're like, fuck it, we'll scale the wall. And Javi lets Nick Cage go up first and like gives him a boost.
He literally tells him to use him as a bench or something. Yeah. He just gets down on all fours and is like, use me as a bench. Like, you need to get out of here.
We love Nick Cage that much. And so he helps him out, and then Nick Cage does, and if you've ever tried to lift someone over a wall, it's not as easy as they make it look in the fucking movies. Fuck movies. No, it's all fake. It's not easy. I've tried doing it in real life. I recently did a Tough Mudder and had to actually do that, and it sucks. It is literally, me and my cousin got to an obstacle where it's a wall, and there's like a single beam where you can step on, but you have to be able to step on that first 4 foot high beam and then lift yourself up. So I lifted my cousin was like, well, do you want to go first? I'm like, no, it's only one of us going up and you're going to go up. Like, there's no way. So I lifted him up and he tried lifting me up with 4 other people. Didn't happen. They're like, we'll go again. I'm like, nah, it's cool. I know how this is going to go down. Don't worry about it. And just for perspective, like, it's not easy to lift a human being up a wall, especially a stone wall with no grip, no nothing.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage is trying to do it with just one arm.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I got you. Like, no, you don't.
And I love the way he drops him too. Like,
he dropped the shit out of him. Yeah, and he fucking just let him go. But
I love like that they were like literally looking into each other's eyes, and he's like
giving us.
You have to let me go. Yeah. You have to keep going. Like.
It was like every movie, like every movie where they're at that point where they have to let someone go, and I love that. And then they get over the wall.
Yeah, Nick gets over the wall, and he's like, oh, and then all of a sudden there's Pedro.
Right next to him, he's like, what? And he's so like, hey, Nick Cage.
Yeah, he's like, hey, like he didn't even just fall like a couple minutes ago, like on the other side.
And they realize that literally next to him, they could have just walked around the wall.
Yeah, if they had just looked right, it was completely open. Yeah. They just turned their head.
And then we get to the part where Nick Cage has to drive the car because Pedro's fucked up. And he's like, or Javi's fucked up and just says, drive it. You did all your stunts in gone 60 seconds. And then he crashes the car like 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the matter of not even 5 minutes. Like, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh, that was that was magic.
Yeah.
I can't with that.
No, it was great. It was great.
I don't even know. What happened next? Like, I'm like,
They went back because the whole point right before he was trying to do before Javi gave him acid is Nick Cage was trying to get into a room where supposedly Pedro Pascal's character Javi had kidnapped a girl.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of the movie. Is find the room.
The drug cartel that Javi's supposedly in charge of had kidnapped a girl in the hopes of trading her so that her dad was like a political figure and so that he wouldn't run for office.
Yeah.
And so the CIA had informed Nick Cage that she could possibly be in this room, and so they go back to the house and Javi's passed out. And so Nick's trying to get in there and Javi finds him and says, "You really want to get in that room, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, I really do." And he's like, "Well, I'll show you what's in there, but I think if you see what's in there, you're gonna change how you view me."
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time he's like, "Oh shit."
Yep, you're like, "Oh, she's
shit,
in
what's
there."
Happening? She's in there. And they open the door, and it's his shrine to Nick Cage.
He literally has one of these. And Nick hated it.
I was dying. He's like,
it's
no,
so weird. He's like, that's weird. And he's like, doing this, and then Javi comes back and he goes, "No, it's not."
No, it's not. Yeah.
He's like, "No, it's not."
And I love, so they keep going and they find that statue. I forget,
a wax sculpture.
Yeah, the wax sculpture
with the golden guns.
And
he's holding them like this.
And Nick Cage just goes on and on about how grotesque the sculpture looks. And he's like, "How much did you pay for it?" He's like, $6,000. And he's like, "I'll give you $28,000." And he's like, "Some things are just not for sale, Nick Cage." Like, why would he want?
It really didn't look like him.
It didn't. It did, but it didn't.
Such
like,
a bad
it was so weird. But he
and I
wanted
feel like they
it.
did it on purpose, though, too. Like, it was such a bad representation.
Have you gone to like a wax sculpture museum?
No.
They like look like them, but they don't.
That's creepy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to the wax.
It's interesting.
Because I've also seen that movie.
Oh yeah.
the horror movie with the... But those are actual people.
Yeah, those are actual people. These are not actual
covered
people.
in wax,
yeah.
so... Yeah, no, I'm good. Just that freaks me out.
Does it?
No, wax people. They
what
come
if,
into life.
For Christmas, I get you a wax sculpture?
Do not. Don't give me a wax sculpture of anybody.
Of Nick Cage.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You can get me like a little action figure of him. That'd be cool.
A life-size wax sculpture of Nick Cage.
You know, I used to have one of those cardboard cutouts when I was a kid of Aragorn in my room.
I was like, what if I got you one of Legolas? But that's who it was. It was Aragorn that you were upset. What if I got you one of him?
Well, I don't even remember how I got it. I think I bought it from the movie theater or something like that. Well, I had one of the life-size.
Back in the day, you could ask them, and then they would tell you, like, when we're done with the promotion, we'll sell it to you or give it to you.
I had a life-size Aragorn freaking thing in my room.
That's what's
like,
up.
How did that not freak me out in the middle of the night?
For a little bit, when I used to work at Best Buy, we'd have like displays like that, and they would depending on how popular it was, they would either auction it off or do a raffle. And I ended up getting a Wall-E one, and it was like a 3D Wall-E, like looked like a fucking Wall-E, like a life size Wall-E, but also talked, which was cool.
Oh.
The problem was there was no way to turn it off.
So just go off at random times.
Yeah.
Wall-E.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. Wall-E, what the fuck?
You're like, oh no, don't do that.
So, I didn't have it for very long, but it was pretty cool. I had it.
I didn't have it for very long. got real annoying real quick.
Waking up in the middle of the night, kicking Wall-E in the face.
Oh my god.
But either way, so he goes and sees this shrine, and he's like, okay, well the girl's not here.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Blah blah blah. And we're getting towards the end of the movie. We're missing anything before we kind of get towards the end of the movie?
No.
So.
Well, we're getting like, because that happens, and then they're still planning the movie and everything together.
Okay.
And then he notices, the CIA tells Nick that he needs to incorporate like a kidnapping into the movie that they're planning.
Oh, that's right.
And he was like, we can't do that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't go with the movie that we're creating and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he's gonna know that I'm lying if I try to incorporate that. And so one thing leads to another, and he still tries to incorporate it. And then, like, he tries to ask him when they're, like, skeet shooting randomly, like, in the most, like, the most random thing to be doing.
You're rich. That's a rich thing to do.
Yeah, I guess. So they're, like, shooting, and he tries to bring this up, and then all of a sudden, like, Javi kind of gets, like, he almost looks like he's being defensive, and like, he has the gun, and he's loading it, like, aggressively, and you're like, oh no, is he actually the drug guy? Is this happening right now? And then, like, he turns to find out he's just being like, no, we can't do that. It's going to change the whole movie style. He basically says exactly what Nick Cage was going to say.
So it's great, because I've been in projects for writing things before, and the whole time I'm like, wow, they have a really healthy way of, like, shooting each other down without being assholes or someone take it personally. It always happens. Mm-hmm. You know, oh, I don't like that idea, and the other person really liked the idea, and instead of realizing it's not personal, they get all mad about it. And this is the first time in the movie, like, I think I identified with Javi so much. I was like, because he clearly came up with an idea that just didn't make sense, and the other person just like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? You trying to fuck this up? Like, what is happening? And I'm like, I've had that moment. Yeah. I've had that moment way too many times. Yeah. I'm just like, what?
Wait, I don't think you've had that moment while also holding a shotgun.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. But you know, like, I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. Like, but you're right. Like, it definitely, I was like, oh, maybe he is the fucking guy, because you don't think that the whole movie, for me at least, I was like, no, Javi's not a fucking drug
I was
lord.
the same way. Like, I was like, no, it couldn't be. Something's off about cool that. Dude. But then that leads into the transition where, because Javi, he thinks that Nicolas Cage is having a block, like a writer's block, because of
emotional block.
Yeah, with all the issues he has with, like, his ex-wife and his daughter. So then Javi takes it upon himself to fly his ex-wife and daughter to his house in Spain.
Which does make him seem like a drug lord.
Which also makes him seem like he's trying to do something, you know, bad. Like, hey, guess what? Your wife and kid are here now.
I can fuck with them anytime I want.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
And so that, like, that starts that whole spiral where you're like, oh gosh, like, is he actually going to, like, do something to their family or whatever? But then you find out he gets called away when they're having lunch, and they're all supposed to be, like, talking and working through their feelings. Yeah. He gets called away, and then that's when you learn it's actually his cousin, kind of inconspicuous cousin, who only showed up, like, a couple times. I kind of
figured it was him.
Yeah, he came off like a total dick. Like, I called it the minute I saw him. I was like, it's that guy. Yeah. I was like, that's the bad guy. Like,
especially when he showed up the second time, I was like, oh, it's him for sure.
Yeah, I was like, that's not, he's not right.
So you find out that he's actually basically Javi is the figurehead, or what everyone thinks he's the figurehead. That way, the guy who's really pulling the strings, no one really knows who it is.
Yeah, it's because, it was Javi's dad who was the original, like, drug kingpin. And when he died, Javi didn't really want anything to do with it, but his cousin ended up taking over, and then his cousin was like, do what I say, or I'll kill you.
No, he didn't say, well, I'll kill you. I mean, he says that eventually. Yeah. But I think he more was like, I'm going to pay you, I'm giving you money. I'm giving you millions of dollars a year, or however much. You know, I give you this amazing house, like, fucking do what I fucking say. Yeah. You know?
But that's scary.
But also, did you see this fucking house? Like,
yeah, it's still scary.
I guess.
Like, I don't want that.
It's definitely a headache to, like, I think that's, besides being terrified, but I think that's mostly what's kept me away from crime. like gangster-related crime. That's
what's kept you away from gangster-related crime?
Stuff. I've been like, maybe I'll steal this one day.
You hoodlum?
Yeah, I was a little hoodlum for a little bit, but, like, I don't think I would ever get, like, the politics. I get annoyed at work. You think I want to deal with, like, life or death politics? Like, hell no.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Hey, fool, you were on 3rd Street. That's what the 9/11, or the 9/11, the 7-Eleven is. I can't go to 7-Eleven because you own that street, dog? Really? Like, that alone. I would get shot for getting a Slurpee. Oh my God. Okay? What? They have the new
as long as it's blue raspberry. Yeah. That's the only one that matters.
Blue raspberry is pretty good.
Yeah.
I usually mix blue raspberry and red cherry.
No. No, man.
Or if they have a pineapple one.
Just blue raspberry. Just
pineapple? All day.
That's the one.
They have a Jarritos flavor? Like fruit punch?
Yeah. No. Right. You know the worst one?
What?
Coke. I hate Coke.
Really? Growing up, I loved it.
No, I hate the Coke
That was great.
That one's gross. I love Coke, but I hate the Coke one. gross.
Put a little bit of Jack in there.
Yeah.
It'd be good. But either way.
Okay, so we learn that it's the cousin, and then everything kind of spirals out of control after that.
And that's when the real shit
That's when all of a sudden it turns into an action movie, and the actual kidnapping takes, has more of a thing, a role in the movie.
Yeah. Which I thought was ironic, because, they're like, no way is it going to take a place in a film like us.
Yeah, but and then it takes place.
But I love the fact, so basically Pedro's tasked with he has to kill Nick Cage. And Nick Cage is tasked
with killing
Javi, because otherwise that's the only way he can get out. Yeah. So they go, Javi tells them, let's go to the cliffs. And they go to
the cliffs where they randomly jumped off earlier in the movie, which we didn't talk about, but it's great.
We need to leave a little mystery for people to go watch this movie. And so they go, and I love this. They go to some farm, an orchard, and they start talking about each other's shoes. You can tell they don't want to kill each other. They don't want to kill each other. I
have it written down.
And they start finding reasons to not have that conversation yet. And I don't know who did it first.
It was Nick.
And Nick looked down.
Nick looked at me. He's like, are those new shoes?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no. He's like, I just don't wear them very often because I don't feel like they're very me.
I've done that 7 times, dude. I have 4 pairs of shoes at my house that I legit bought because I liked them. And I was like, oh, I just feel like such a douche you're wearing these.
He was like, I don't feel like they're really me. And then so they switch one shoe. He tries on his shoe, and then he ends up giving his shoe to Javi, and Javi tries on his shoe, and then they're both like, these are nice. And then so Nick Cage goes, do you want to switch? And he's like permanently? And he's like, yeah. And so they switch shoes. So Nick gives him his Vans, and then Javi gives him his loafers. Yeah, and it's great. Just the most ridiculous but most adorable scene.
I love that it was great. I was like, wow, these guys are just real friends.
Yes, they're just the best of friends, and they're so adorable, and I love them.
And as that's happening, they slowly basically tell each other we have to kill each other.
Yeah, they get out of the truck and they go walk around, and then all of a sudden Javi pulls a gun, and then Nick pulls a gun, and then they're like, oh no, what are we doing? Yeah. And then all of a sudden all these other guys show up and they start shooting at them because they knew that they weren't going to kill each other.
Yeah, they're too good of friends. Yeah, it was not going to happen.
Do it.
So basically, they're trying to get everyone to safety. They're trying to figure out where the kidnapped girl is. Yeah. And they go through all of this actionness that happens, and But
we have to talk about the scene though. Right before they get away, after that whole thing, they're behind a rock and they see the truck, and so they have to make a run to the truck, right? And so they're gonna have to run to it, and Nick tells, I think, Javi to go, and then Javi's like, no, you have to go because you run faster than me. And he was like, not when you gave me these damn loafers to try to run in.
But then he comes up with the fun fact.
Yep, another fun fact. Javi's like, well, not according to the special featurette or something like that for National Treasure. You can run faster.
You did your own stunts in National Treasure. I know you run fast. And he's like, you don't know that. You don't know that was me. And he was like, not according to the featurette.
Exactly.
And he was, damn it. And he was like, we're not in these shoes, Javi. They offer no ankle support. Which I was like, Dick, neither do fucking Vans, you asshole. Okay? But yeah, no, they end up having this little argument about who's gonna go, and he goes, and
but they both end up going anyway. And just the way that Javi runs too, by the way, it was he ran ridiculous, but it was great. But yeah, so they make it, they get out of there, but then when they get back to the house, they find out that the cousin had taken Nick's daughter. Yes. And so now 2 girls are kidnapped. So Nick's daughter and that other guy's daughter, the guy who was running for office.
The original kidnappee.
Yeah, the original kidnappee. Yeah, you're right. Not kidnapper.
Kidnappee.
She didn't kidnap anyone, she got kidnapped.
Exactly.
But, so then they find out that happened, so now Nick has to go try to rescue his daughter.
And he does it in, the most Nick Cage way ever.
The most absolute magical way.
And he finds out basically that the drug dealer cousin was making a deal with another drug lord who hadn't been seen in a long time.
It was 15 years or something
like that. Yeah, to unify the cartels. Mm-hmm. So he's like, no one knows what he looks like. And his wife used to do makeup. As that's how they met. She was a makeup artist. Mm-hmm. So they get him all makeuped up in this character. He's 100% sold in on it. And as they're showing up, he just gets shot. Or not shot, or
he puts a knife to his ear, and, like, is, like, telling him, like, I don't believe you and all this stuff. Yeah. And then his wife is just standing there. And then she ends up being, like, the badass. And she was like, go ahead and kill him. Like, because she was like, if you were going to do it, you would have done it already. Yeah. She's like, I don't think you're going to do it. And so he ends up not doing it at that moment. But, she, like, came out like a badass all of a sudden. You were like, whoa, damn.
I love Nick Cage's fake Spanish accent. It was so bad, but they believed him? I was like, what is happening? What the fuck? You guys are from Spain. Why don't you understand this guy's not from Spain right now? And so...
I know, and, like, you would think that he would, like, speak Spanish to him, like, right out the gate.
A little bit even.
Something, and then Nick just be like, panic, like, I don't know what to say, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, get like an oye coño or something, just to, like, soften the blow. Nothing.
But in the long run of it all, or whatever, they end up, like, sneaking into, like, the, like, dungeon part of it,
it was like a castle.
Yeah, it was like a castle, so it was like a underground thing where they were keeping the girls, and so they go find them, but they get obviously busted because somebody realizes that they're there, and so they get the girls out safely because Nick is a total badass, you know, and takes the guy, the cousin, and, like, holds a gun to him and everything, but now Nick's trapped.
Yeah.
Oh no, the girls got out, everybody's safe, but Nick's trapped in there holding a gun to the cousin's head with, like, 6 guys surrounding him.
Yeah.
So what happens? Javi to the rescue.
Yeah.
Javi's like, I can't leave my guy in there. I have to go get him. And so he goes running in there, and all of a sudden he's a badass too.
Yeah, he starts doing shit.
Yeah, and they take everybody out, and they get out, and then it's an awesome car chase.
Yeah.
That happens. And that's pretty rad.
That was cool.
But then Javi jumps out.
Yes, to sacrifice himself.
He sacrificed
to, like, slow
himself.
Them down,
Yep.
so they can get to the American embassy to, like, get away from.
To get away. Yeah. And so Javi does that. He gets shot. You don't know what happens to him. You're like, oh no, is he okay? Like, what happened? And then the car scene was really cool. Mm-hmm. The part that I liked was the part when he's like, he has to reverse, and then the guy's like coming forward at him, and then all of a sudden this truck comes out of nowhere and just sideswipes the bad guys.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't expecting that part. Because, I mean, normally you would. Yeah. But, like, I feel like I was, like, invested in really, like, what was happening. Yeah. I didn't even see it. Yeah, I didn't even see it happening. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, I jumped a little bit. But it was good. It was a good jump. I liked it. But
either way, they make it to the embassy, and they're able to get away.
They survive.
And they're able to go home, and Nick Cage realizes that he needs to stop being a douche.
Yeah, happy ending.
Happy ending.
But I loved, by the way, the transition that they made at the end, where it went from real life to the movie.
Yeah,
to the movie that they made.
You find out that they actually end up making the movie.
Yeah.
And it does really, really well. Mm-hmm. And that starts Javi's career as a director, writer.
Yep. And then Nick actually, you know, connects with his family and is able to do all that stuff. And they have a very sweet ending. Yeah. Where he had trouble in the beginning connecting with his daughter because he was always trying to push everything that he liked on her.
Selfish.
Yeah, and instead of asking her, like, what do you like, he always tried to, like, mold her into basically himself. And so I loved how at the end he asked her to pick a movie, and she chooses, have you ever seen Paddington 2?
Yeah. No, it was such a great callback.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And then they watched Paddington 2 and they cried.
You know how many people are probably going to watch Paddington 2 because of that?
Oh, so many. So I've never seen it, but now I want to watch it.
Now I have to watch it.
I feel like I'm going to cry the whole time. Yeah. It's going to make me want to be a better man.
Fucking masterpiece. No, it was great. It was great because I grew up with Paddington. I didn't really watch it that much, but I remember watching Nickelodeon would do like reruns of Paddington. Mm-hmm. And I never watched the movies when they came out because obviously too old. But I just thought it was such a great, like, funny line for it to be like this movie masterpiece, you know? So,
yeah. I also didn't expect to cry at the end.
Why'd you cry?
Because I have daddy issues. So the ending got me. They finally, you know, they connect.
Yeah.
Paddington 2, you know, does it for them and everything, but, like, yeah. I cried.
I get it.
And I was sitting there in the movie theater like, why am I crying in a Nick Cage movie? And I was like, oh yeah, daddy issues. That's right.
No, I get it. I can't watch Big Bang Theory anytime Leonard and his mom talk. So I get it.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah. That tracks.
But yeah, that's the movie.
That is the movie. It's great.
I loved it. It was great. I would watch it again. I would recommend 10 out of 10. Like, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, it checked all the boxes. It's one of those movies where, like, a lot of times, if a movie can be cool, and I get caught up in how they're trying to make it, and, like, thinking, like, oh, how do they do this scene? And, like, I get distracted. Versus, like, I was, like, in the movie. Like, oh, what's going to happen next? Like, I was excited. Yeah. So, it was
I felt that way, too. I felt immersed. Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm here for it.
Exactly.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Oh, my gosh.
Let's go.
Oh, and I love the one line that they have, though, between him and his, like, agent, and, like, him and, like, his alter ego or whatever. Mm-hmm. Not that we went anywhere.
Oh, I know.
Like,
cool.
I love that. Like, we're back. Not that we went anywhere.
Yeah. No, yeah. As a whole, it was great. And like I said earlier, I hope this isn't his last movie. I really hope.
I hope not either. I feel like this shed a lot of light on him in general, because I feel like a lot of people didn't understand why he makes all these movies and why he acts the way he does and like why he does it. And I feel like this kind of like opened that up for people to like understand him a little bit better. Yeah. And appreciate him. He is a national treasure.
No, he was in National Treasure.
No, he is a national treasure. He was in it, but he's also a national treasure. Okay. I have some questions for you.
All right, let's go.
Are you ready?
I am.
What's your favorite Nick Cage movie?
I think for me, it's Gone in 60 Seconds.
That is a high quality movie.
It is. I think just all around, because when it rains, it pours. And it's cheesy, but again, all the right way. And I love, like, it's one of the first movies that, like, really got me into cars. Mm-hmm. And I love that, like, it's not just his old crew. You also get to see, like, the new crew. So, you, like, it's two, like, 8 generations that can, like, appreciate that movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. So I have a tie.
Okay.
And they're 2 wildly different movies.
Okay.
Just wildly different.
Let's hear.
Con Air.
Okay. A lot of people love Con Air. I get it.
And The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I forgot about that movie.
I feel like everybody always does, but it's so good.
It was alright. Like, I couldn't get into it.
What?
I get a lot of people were into it. I just was like,
that movie for me, like, I love that movie. I could watch that movie like over and over and over again, just because. I've tried. I lose interest like 20 really like
in.
I feel like it ticks all of my little boxes for that movie. Like, it's funny. There's magic. But then it's also got a little bit of seriousness. There's romance. Like, it has, like, all of this stuff. And it's Disney.
It is Disney.
Like, I was like trying to think. I'm like, I think it's Disney.
It was supposed to be, like, a big thing for Disney. Yeah. I remember going, like, hearing about it and, like, thinking, like, oh, this would be pretty cool. And
yeah, because they even have, like, a reference to, like, Fantasia
that was
in
a big
it.
Thing.
Yeah, which is, it's really fun. I just think it's a fun movie. But then, obviously, Con Air is just amazing and a classic. And his hair blowing in the wind and put the bunny back in the box. I can't do a Nick Cage impression. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I just can't do it. Okay, I have one more for you. It's kind of a. I have to explain a little bit though.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
lay it on me.
Apparently, Nick Cage auditioned for 4 very prominent roles that were filled by other actors.
Okay.
I would like to know which one you would have liked to have seen Nick play.
Okay.
Okay. So, Nick auditioned to be John Bender in The Breakfast Club. Tony Stark in Iron Man. Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wait, which one?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The one with Johnny Depp.
Okay.
And Joel Goodson for Risky Business.
Oh. I would have to say the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because the original is so close to me. Like Gene Wilder is like one of my favorite actors of all time. And
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, right? But this movie specifically is one of the movies like I would watch over and over and over again. And it just was so different. I've never seen a movie like it because it goes from being this really cool thing and it was super terrifying at one point when they're in the boat and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is he, what? And the kid, like, it made me scared of jumping in lakes with tubes in them because I was fat. And, but I feel like I did not like Johnny Depp's rendition of the character. That was a very strange direction. But I feel like he's weird enough that like I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Coming from I think his performance, it wouldn't be the same, but it would be like, I feel like more influenced by that, by Gene Wilder's performance, and I would like to see the boat scene with Nick Cage.
I have to agree.
It's rowing! Like, imagine. Like, it'd be great.
I have to agree. That was the one that stuck out to me, too. I was like,
yeah.
Could you imagine him playing Willy Wonka? Like, I feel like that would just be pure magic.
It would be amazing. Like, it would be dope.
Just, I can hear him.
Yeah.
I can see him in the outfit. I'm sold. Let's remake this movie.
Yeah, it'd be like...
Let's get my boy Nick in it.
It'd be like... It would be really cool.
Nicolas Cage is Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
I'm about it. I'm here for it. I did find out a lot of interesting things about Nick, though, today. Because I was looking up certain things here and
Nick
there.
facts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a super nerd. Did you know that? Because I didn't really know that.
I feel like he's probably like a really thorough person in anything he does.
He's very into comics.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
He loves comics. He he has a Ghost Rider tattoo, and he got that even before he got that role.
I did know he was super into Ghost Rider beforehand. Yeah. That wasn't like
so like he's really into all the comics though. His second son is named Kal-El.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's actually a Jewish name.
Well, but he named him because of comics. He wasn't. It wasn't because of Jewish stuff.
He explains that it had to have both meanings. It couldn't just be a comic book thing.
Well, he also did you know that he owned the Action One Comics #1? One with Superman. Debut.
I didn't know that.
He owned that. He bought it for like $100 and something thousand, and then ended up selling it. I think in 2011
for the highest the comics
2 point something million.
Yeah, I remember when I was following that because they sold it through eBay, and it was like the highest a comic books ever sold for. But yeah,
that's so crazy.
Crazy. He was supposed to play Superman, right?
I think I heard something about that.
So yeah there was a whole thing where they had there's a script that exists where he was supposed to play it.
That's crazy.
So there was a whole debacle. It's great.
Awesome.
Kevin Smith was somewhat involved. It's awesome. It's a great story. If you get a chance, anyone who's listening and you, Kevin Smith tells a story about how he was working with Warner Brothers on some projects, and one of the projects that was basically like put on the table was they were working on a new Superman script, and so he ended up working on it, but when he was working out with the producer ended up getting cut, and so did he from that project, and that's when they did I forget which one it was, but they basically had someone else take it over and do it. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting, like very funny random story.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Check it out. It involves spiders and like a guy, like the producer knew nothing about Superman, so he would like pitch crazy ideas to Kevin Smith after like he wrote this like really extensive. He'd be like, polar bears. And he'd be like, did you know that polar bears are the top of their of the animal kingdom of ice animals? And he'd be like, okay. He's like, why can't we give Superman polar bears? Like, what? It's great. It's a great story. Go check it out. You can find it on YouTube.
So weird.
Yeah, it was very strange.
All right, I have one more fact for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I feel like I have to share this because I didn't realize that me and Nicolas Cage shared our love of dinosaurs.
Oh.
But did you know that Nicolas Cage, within a span of only a couple of like years or something like that, blew $150 million, and he blew that $150 million on a dinosaur skull.
A T-Rex skull, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It was $300,000 they spent on it. Albino king cobras, an octopus, multiple castles, and 2 private islands.
Yep. Did you know that he actually doesn't have the T-Rex skull anymore? No. So he bought it at an auction, and then he had it for several years, and then basically, I forgot, whoever, when you discover a large bone, it has to go through certain processes to figure out who owns it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, it ends up going to the government. And so, I forgot where it was originally dug up, but basically the government from which it came from basically said, hey, it was stolen from us.
Give us our dinosaur back.
You have to give it back to us, which he does, but technically the auction house has to give him money back, but they never did. So the auction house probably stole it and then resold it.
That sucks.
He did have to give that up, but he did have it for several years. So I also believe Leonardo DiCaprio has a few dinosaur, like I think he has like a velociraptor and like some eggs and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I want to be like Nick Cage when I grow up.
I want to be like Nick Cage now.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. The facts. Well, I'm out of questions. Do you have any questions for me? You didn't think this through, did you?
No, you're the person with the questions. No, I love everything we talked about. I love Nick Cage.
I love him too.
This movie definitely made me appreciate him more.
And he looked good in this movie.
Yeah, he did, right?
He looked damn good. Like, I just want to throw that out there. I was looking at him, I'm all, damn, Nick, look at you. Like, that beard is looking good on you, buddy.
Yeah, no, he definitely felt like he cleaned up for the movie, you know? And, like, I mean, who wouldn't? I'm sure he got paid a decent amount. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's already an attractive guy, but the beard, it did it for me. Just oof. Just a lot of oof. Like,
Either way. I'm all set. You set? You good? You all caged out?
Oh, I've never caged out, but we can end it.
All right, guys.
I could talk about Nick for hours.
I'm sure you could.
Hours.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Honestly, it means a lot. We've been getting some good responses from you guys on our Instagram and TikTok and a few other things on the YouTube. I appreciate you guys going on there and watching our channel. It really helps out.
Yeah.
We're trying to make this a thing, and without you guys, it's not a thing.
Yeah,
so thank you guys.
No, it's just us talking to ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you for all the new listeners. If you haven't subscribed to us, again, on YouTube, please subscribe. That helps us out a lot. On Instagram, we're at Nerdoholics Podcast. I have to remember. Nerdoholics Podcast. On TikTok, we're, I believe, just Nerdoholics. On Twitter, we're at Nerdoholics. And then on Facebook, we're at Nerdoholics.
We got all the things.
So,
follow us on all the things.
Please help us out by following us. And then you can see our recipes for our drinks. Jazzie's been doing a great job of showing us how to do drinks every week. So
I'm a mess, but I do it for y'all.
Yeah. But you guys seem to really like that, so we're going to keep that around. If there's something you want to see that we haven't done yet, tell us. If there's a drink that you maybe would like us to do, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Let us know somehow. And if we can make it happen, we'll make it happen.
Heck yeah.
If there's any subjects you want us to cover, let us know too. We would love to do some stuff that you guys are interested in that I'm sure kind of align with what we got.
Yeah.
We have some cool things coming up, including the Doctor Strange,
Doctor
Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness coming up in a few weeks, which I'm excited to go see and review that. I'm
actually excited too, just because I didn't like Doctor Strange for the longest time, and I just recently started to like him. So I'm excited now.
So it'll be cool. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it's gonna open a lot of avenues for some cool Marvel stuff that
Team Loki.
I'm excited to talk about. We'll see.
I just love Loki. I just love Loki and everything.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Yes. Oh no, that's not plugged in. Bye, guys.